Capricorn. Can you feel it? There's something in the air that words can't explain, a trembling beneath reality, like a structure groaning before it breaks. But this time, it's not your life that's cracking. It's theirs. The very darkness that tried to break you is now collapsing under its own weight, and they never expected it would start this soon. For years, you've walked forward carrying the weight of silence, the sting of betrayal, and the burden of knowing more than you could ever prove. People smiled in your face while drawing maps of your downfall behind closed doors. But now, the silence is splitting open. The sealed rooms. They're echoing with sounds they can't muffle anymore. The power built on secrets is unraveling, thread by thread. This collapse didn't begin today. It began the moment they underestimated you. The moment they built alliances in the shadows thinking the light would never find them. But what they didn't know is that the light was always watching. It simply waited for the perfect moment to strike. And now, Capricorn, that moment has arrived. Every dark agreement formed against you. Every lie crafted to block your name. Every hand that reached for you in pretense is now exposed. You don't have to do anything. The collapse is already happening. You were never forgotten. You were never outnumbered. You were never at risk. You were just hidden for a higher time. And this is that time. So stay with me, Capricorn. Because by the end of this message, you'll understand why the storm isn't here to break you, it's here to clear your path. Let's begin. Part 1, The Secret War You Didn't Know You Were Winning. Capricorn, for the longest time, you thought you were just surviving. You thought you were merely enduring people's silence, brushing off the betrayals, and walking away from conversations that twisted your name without cause. You believed you were keeping your peace simply because it was the higher path. But what you never realized is that you were winning a war. Yes, a war that was never announced. A war that was never declared. But a war that was waged in secret and targeted your spirit. A spiritual war designed to drain your faith, distort your identity, and confuse your sense of direction. And the scariest part? It was fought by people you once trusted. Behind fake smiles, small compliments, polite nods, were quiet alliances. Silent agreements. People banding together to stand against your rise, not because you harmed them, but because your presence made them feel exposed. You never raised a weapon. You never threw a stone. You simply kept rising. And to them, that was a threat. You see, the energy of Capricorn has always provoked the insecure. It holds a power that doesn't need noise to shake the room. When you walk into a space, Capricorn, you don't dominate, you disrupt. You shift dynamics just by being aligned. Your calm confidence reminds others of the work they haven't done. And in their unevolved state, that truth becomes unbearable. So they formed pacts. They whispered your name with disdain while copying your strength in secret. They hoped to exhaust you with delays, make you question your path with false narratives, and wear you down with passive resistance. But here's what they didn't understand. Your silence was not weakness. It was strategy. Your restraint was not fear. It was strength. Your patience was not permission. It was power. While they were plotting in the dark, you were being positioned by the light. While they scrambled for control, you were growing roots so deep that even the harshest storm couldn't move you. And now, the war they thought they were winning, it's unraveling from the inside out. Their alliances are cracking. Their lies are folding under the weight of time. Their false narratives can't hold when confronted by divine timing. Because Capricorn, let me be clear, spiritual justice never rushes. It moves with the kind of precision that only time can understand. And in this very hour, the verdict is shifting. You are no longer being tried in the shadows. You are being elevated in the open. The hidden war is over. You didn't fight dirty. You didn't scream. You didn't retaliate. And yet, you won. Life lesson for Capricorn. Sometimes your greatest victory is simply refusing to become what they accused you of. The war wasn't for your image, it was for your character. And you, Capricorn, passed the test in silence. That's why the collapse is happening now. Not because you forced it, but because the universe decided it's time. Part 2, The Masks Are Shattering. Capricorn, Have you ever felt something shift in a room, not because of what was said, but because of what was hidden? That moment when a glance lingers too long, when a compliment feels too polished, when a silence grows too loud. These are not coincidences. They are cracks in the mask. And now, those cracks are turning into fractures. The masks are shattering. For so long, people around you wore roles, carefully constructed performances. They acted like allies. They positioned themselves as mentors. They smiled, listened, nodded. But behind closed doors, their eyes rolled. Their voices turned sharp. Their intentions soured. And Capricorn, you felt it. Even if you couldn't name it, your spirit knew. That's the thing about you. You don't need proof to feel the truth. You've always been spiritually intuitive, not loud about it, but quietly accurate. You sensed that something wasn't right. And so you stepped back. You grew quieter. You became harder to access. And they noticed. They called you distant. They called you arrogant. They called you cold. But what they didn't realize is that you were discerning. You were listening to something they couldn't hear, a warning, a vibration in the atmosphere that told you, this is not as it seems. And now, Capricorn, your discernment is being proven right. The people who wore the mask best are now stumbling over their own performance. Their smiles can't hold anymore. Their stories don't align. Their energy can't keep up with the lie. And slowly, stunningly, they are being exposed not by your words, but by their own undoing. It starts small. A rumor they planted returns to them. A connection they forged behind your back falls apart. A relationship they pretended to support ends in tension. And before they realize it, the story they wrote to damage your name becomes the trap that chokes theirs. Capricorn, you are not watching revenge. You are watching revelation. This is not about ego. It's about equilibrium. This is the universe restoring balance in places where distortion once ruled. Let me remind you, you never needed to confront them. Truth doesn't need a sword. It just needs time. And time has finally arrived. These masks weren't just worn by acquaintances. In some cases, it was family. In others, spiritual mentors, colleagues, or longtime friends. That's why it hurt so much. The betrayal didn't come from strangers. It came from voices you trusted. That's what makes this moment so powerful. Because now, you are not just watching them fall. You are watching yourself rise, without bitterness. Without revenge. Without breaking character. Capricorn, this is maturity in motion. And the universe is watching. Life lesson for Capricorn. Don't mourn the mask, be thankful for the reveal. When someone's false identity collapses, it's not your loss. It's your liberation. You were never meant to negotiate with a costume. You were meant to recognize the soul beneath, and walk away when the soul chose deception. Part 3, the courtroom in the sky, is now in session. Capricorn, above every courtroom built by human hands, there is a higher one, unseen, silent, but more powerful than any judge who's ever sat behind a bench. It's not found in government buildings or marble halls. It's not bound by jurisdiction or loopholes. This courtroom exists in the spiritual realm in the heavens. And right now, that courtroom is in full session. But here's the truth, you are not on trial there. You are not the accused. You are the witness. And finally, justice is no longer delayed. It's being declared. This isn't symbolic. This is literal. Because in the language of astrology, and I say this not lightly, Capricorn is undergoing something rare. Since the return of Pluto into Capricorn, the planet of power, karma, and purging has been activating judgment in your field. This is not just an energy shift. It's a cosmic courtroom moment. And the files are open. Not the kind written by lawyers or stamped by clerks, but spiritual records, known in many traditions as books of remembrance. These books hold every decision, every intention, every betrayal, every time someone lied using your name, and every moment you chose silence instead of retaliation. And now, those pages are being read aloud, not by you, but by a voice stronger than accusation. By a justice that isn't swayed by public opinion. Picture it. A courtroom without walls. A judge of light. A scroll unrolling before all of creation. And your name is being cleared. The accusations they whispered are turning into evidence against themselves. The traps they built are forming around their own ankles. The plans they set in motion are collapsing under the weight of truth. This is why your nights have felt different, Capricorn. Why some mornings you wake up feeling strangely lighter, as if something heavy has lifted even though you can't explain why. It's because the verdict has already been spoken. You were not guilty. You were targeted. And now, heaven has ruled in your favor. But justice in the heavens always echoes down into the earth. And soon, what has been decreed above will start manifesting below. Watch for it. The person who lied about you will begin to face their own unraveling. The group that tried to exile you will begin to turn on each other. The job that ignored your worth will find itself scrambling to fill the gap you left. Not because you're bitter, but because the truth, once spoken from heaven, cannot be silenced on earth. So walk carefully now, Capricorn, not with fear, but with reverence. You're no longer navigating confusion. You're standing in a courtroom of revelation. Life lesson for Capricorn. When you don't fight the battle, but truth still wins, that's not luck. That's divine judgment. Capricorn, you were never fighting for survival. You were waiting for a verdict. And now, it's being delivered with your name cleared, your dignity intact, and your soul unchained. Part 4. When the arrogant fall, the humble rise. Capricorn, pride built without truth always falls, and when it falls, it doesn't fall quietly. It crashes. It shakes the ground. It brings down everything that was built on lies, manipulation, and ego. And now, right before your eyes, it's beginning. Those who once stood tall in their arrogance, the ones who dismissed you, ignored your warnings, minimized your presence, are starting to wobble. Their structures looked solid. Their influence seemed untouchable. But what they didn't see was that the foundation beneath them was already hollow. Because pride builds fast, but it does not build deep. And Capricorn, you build deep. That's why they hated your silence. Why they mocked your caution. Why they tried to rush past you and label your patience as weakness. But now, those roles are reversing. The arrogant are stumbling. The loudest voices are going silent. The ones who rushed ahead without integrity are circling back, confused by the collapse around them. And the ones they tried to leave behind, you, Capricorn, are rising. You see, when a false kingdom falls, there is always a transfer of space. The stage clears. The noise fades. And the universe asks, who will lead now? Who will take up the position that was once misused? And Capricorn, that question was never for the crowd. It was for you. Because you were never overlooked by the cosmos, only reserved. You were held back from certain rooms not because you weren't worthy, but because those rooms weren't clean enough for you to enter yet. So the arrogant were allowed to reign for a time. But time has expired. The energy of Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the planet of karma, timing, and structure. When Saturn moves, it doesn't destroy randomly. It dismantles strategically. And right now, Saturn is not only bringing down what was fake, it's preparing what was real to rise. This is why the fall of the arrogant is not your vengeance. It's your vindication. You didn't ask for it. You didn't need it. But it's happening anyway. And as the towers collapse, don't run to pick up what's broken. Don't try to explain their downfall. Don't shrink yourself to make others comfortable in their fall. Stand. In the dignity of your silence. In the strength of your truth. In the clarity of your path. Because while they fought for attention, you built for legacy. While they raced for applause, you waited for timing. And now, timing has chosen you. Life lesson for Capricorn. Never envy a fast rise. If it's not built on truth, it's already falling. Capricorn, your slow climb was not a punishment. It was protection. Now that the false structures are falling, your foundation is being revealed and it's unshakable. Part 5, Capricorn's protection was written in the stars. Capricorn, have you ever wondered why you survived things that should have destroyed you? Why you were shielded from relationships that seemed perfect but collapsed just before you got too close? Why jobs you prayed for rejected you only to be exposed as toxic months later? Why people who smiled at you so warmly quietly left your life before the storm hit. Let me tell you something that few dare to say out loud. Your protection wasn't accidental. It was written in the stars. You were never left out. You were never overlooked. You were covered by a force that knew more than you did in the moment. Capricorn, your ruling planet, Saturn, does not just give authority. It gives protection through wisdom. It places invisible boundaries around your path that others cannot cross unless they're clean. Saturn doesn't just say yes. It says, not yet, or not them, or not at the cost of your purpose. And while other signs may be ruled by passion or fire, you are ruled by order, karma, and timing. That's why your life has never been random. That's why your delays were never denials. That's why even your most painful rejections were really redirections. What you thought was a loss was divine protection from people who were carrying poison behind their praise. You see, the reason darkness couldn't break you even when it tried is because your soul is built like a mountain. Not only do you carry resilience, Capricorn, you are resilience. Your essence is structured like stone, unshakable, unmovable, unwilling to collapse under pressure. That's why the storm passed over you. That's why the betrayal didn't bury you. That's why the trap they set never closed around your ankles. Because long before the shadow showed up, a shield was already in place. And this shield, it wasn't forged in fear. It was forged in purpose. The universe knew that your assignment was too critical. Your future impact too powerful. Your wisdom too costly to waste. So it guarded you even from what you prayed for. Even from what you loved. Even from what you thought you needed. Capricorn, not every loss was a punishment. Some losses were your rescue. And now that the dust is settling, now that the darkness is crumbling, now that justice is being released, you'll begin to see the full picture. You'll look back at what you didn't receive, and finally feel thankful. Because what didn't reach you wasn't meant to survive what's coming next. Life lesson for Capricorn. Not everything that left your life was a rejection. Some exits were evidence that heaven was still watching. Capricorn, your story was never written in desperation. It was designed in alignment. And now, your protection is becoming your proof. Part 6, the transfer of power begins now. Capricorn, when power shifts in the universe, it doesn't happen with fireworks. It happens in silence. In collapsed structures. In fallen reputations. In titles that suddenly lose meaning. In rooms that once felt out of reach, becoming strangely quiet. This is not just the fall of the arrogant. It is the transfer of authority. A sacred shifting from hands that abused it to souls that earned it. And right now, you're at the center of that shift. You didn't ask for power. That's what makes you trustworthy with it. You didn't chase the spotlight. That's why the light is finding you now. You didn't try to control people. That's why people will now look to you for clarity. The energy of Capricorn is not just about surviving storms, it's about becoming the mountain after the storm ends. You are the structure others will now lean on. And not because you screamed louder, but because you stood stronger. While others built platforms, you built foundations. While they manipulated, you matured. While they lied to stay relevant, you sacrificed to stay aligned. And now, as their crowns fall, your clarity rises. But don't expect the world to hand it to you wrapped in gold. No. The new authority comes quietly. It shows up in invitations you weren't expecting. In rooms where your name gets mentioned without you even being there. In decisions that favor your presence, not because you begged for it, but because you embodied it. Capricorn, this is what earned power looks like. Not taken by force, but given by alignment. And here's the sacred truth. Power without character is collapsing everywhere, and you've been chosen to inherit what was misused. Not for ego. Not for revenge. But for rebuilding. The universe doesn't hand out replacements without reformers. And that's who you are now. But this moment comes with a question. What will you do with it? Because now that the doors are opening not by force, but by fate, you'll be tempted to prove something. Don't. You don't need to show the world who you are. Let the world experience it. You'll be tempted to speak for revenge. Don't. Your silence is your sermon. The authority being placed into your hands is generational, ancestral. You are being given the chance to shift what others broke, not just for yourself, but for those who will come after you. This is legacy work. So as you walk into the vacuum left by their collapse, do so slowly. Do so consciously. Do so with the quiet fire that only Capricorn carries, the kind that doesn't burn to destroy, but to illuminate what's real. This is your moment. Not because you fought for it, but because you became it. Life lesson for Capricorn. True power isn't claimed, it's carried. And Capricorn, the universe doesn't give that weight to those who haven't endured. You've endured. Now it's time to lead, not from the front of the crowd, but from the foundation of truth. Part 7: A storm that breaks every alliance formed against you. Capricorn, some betrayals don't come from individuals, they come from alliances. Not one person, not one decision, but a collective, a group quietly bonded by fear, envy, and a shared goal, to stop your rise before it could threaten their illusion of control. And here's the most chilling part. You didn't even know they were organized. They never said it out loud. They didn't gather in obvious ways. But they moved in sync, like shadows circling light. Their alliance was built in silence, in whispers, in glances exchanged when you turned your back. Capricorn, some of them pretended to be on your side. They smiled when you won, but celebrated louder when you failed. They clapped for your progress in public and prayed for your collapse in private. And while you were busy healing, they were bonding not over truth, but over shared resentment. Not because you did anything to them, but because your presence reminded them of what they hadn't yet become. But what they didn't know is this. When alliances are built on lies, they rot from the inside. They may look solid. They may act powerful. But they are hollow, like a tree eaten from the core. And now, Capricorn, the storm has arrived. Not to punish you, but to expose them. One by one, the threads they used to stitch their secrecy are snapping. One by one, the smiles they wore are slipping. And one by one, they're turning on each other. Because no alliance built on betrayal ever survives the light. It only takes one exposure, one truth, one undeniable moment, and the whole structure caves in. And that moment is now. You don't have to say a word. You don't need to confront anyone. Truth has become your defender. Time has become your proof. And the storm? It's doing what no argument ever could, ending what was never meant to stand. Watch as the ones who whispered together start blaming each other. Watch as trust crumbles among them. Watch as their shared confidence turns to chaos. This is not your doing. It's the storm of justice, breaking what was built to break you. And here's the miracle. While they're falling apart, you're rising whole. While their group scatters in fear, you're standing in clarity. While their house collapses, you're being given new ground to build on. Let them fall, Capricorn. Let the storm do its work. Let the alliances break. You have something far more powerful than numbers. You have alignment. Life lesson for Capricorn. What was formed in shadows cannot survive the light. Capricorn, you were never meant to fit in with those who stood against you. That's why their alliance is dissolving and your future is opening. Part 8: The Prophecy of Restoration and Public Vindication. Capricorn, there's a difference between surviving and being restored. You've survived plenty. You've walked through emotional fires, betrayals that left you breathless, and seasons of silence so thick it felt like the world forgot your name. But this new energy, this is not about survival. This is about vindication. And not the kind whispered in private. Not the kind only your spirit feels. No, this is public. Because when a Capricorn has been wrongly attacked, consistently misunderstood, and quietly disrespected, the universe doesn't just heal you in secret, it restores you in front of those who doubted you. And now, the prophecy that's been hovering over your life for years, the one spoken in dreams, in signs, in late-night prayers, is coming to pass. This is not wishful thinking. This is divine timing, activated. The people who dismissed you will start to notice your name again. But this time, it won't be as the one who stayed silent. It will be as the one who was right all along. Your vindication will not come with shouting, it will come with proof. Proof in open doors. Proof in sudden favor. Proof in the collapse of their false stories. Proof in the spotlight you never asked for but can now carry. Capricorn, this season will bring clarity to those who once judged you. But more importantly, it will bring clarity to you. Because part of your restoration is not just external success, it's internal realization. That you were never broken. Only buried. Like a seed beneath the earth. Covered. Hidden. Misunderstood. But now, the soil has shifted. The ground is moving. And you, the one they thought had disappeared, are rising again. This is your emergence. And when truth emerges, it doesn't need to fight to be seen. It simply stands, and everything false falls away. So what should you do, Capricorn? Don't defend yourself. Don't revisit the pain. Don't relive the betrayal. Just walk forward, fully, humbly, boldly. The same people who spoke against you will fall silent. Not because you silenced them, but because truth already did. And when the light shines on your path again, don't apologize for it. Don't shrink to comfort those who enjoyed your exile. You suffered in silence. Now you rise in peace. Because justice delayed was never justice denied. It was just waiting for the perfect moment to arrive. And Capricorn, this is that moment. Life lesson for Capricorn. Your silence was never weakness, it was the stage being set for your public restoration. Let the prophecy fulfill itself. You don't need to push it. Just step into it. Your story was always meant to end in light. Part 9, The Final Collapse. Why the old systems can't hold you anymore. Capricorn, you've spent years trying to fit into systems that were never built for you. Workplaces that praised the loud and ignored the wise. Relationships that wanted your loyalty but rejected your boundaries. Communities that welcomed your results but feared your presence. You stayed. You gave. You tried. But the system never changed, and neither did its response to your truth. But here's the revelation. It wasn't your job to fix the old structure. It was your destiny to outgrow it. And now, you have. You're no longer the same Capricorn who tolerated being tolerated. You're no longer shrinking just to keep others comfortable. You're no longer explaining your depth to those who only understand surface. Because the old systems are collapsing. Not just in society, not just in politics, but in your personal life. And not because of drama, but because your energy no longer matches what was built on fear. When truth rises in a person, anything fake begins to fall apart around them. And you, Capricorn, have been rising spiritually, emotionally, cosmically. That's why some relationships suddenly feel heavy. That's why some spaces now feel suffocating. That's why your soul craves something deeper, freer, quieter, truer. The old system sees you. And it's panicking. Because when someone like you leaves the table, the whole table loses its balance. You weren't just another piece. You were the stabilizer. The one who brought wisdom in chaos. The one who saw through the noise and held everything together without seeking credit. But now, the tables are turning. And the system can't hold you anymore. Why? Because your soul has outgrown the walls. Your truth no longer fits in someone else's limitation. And your silence has evolved into strength they can't manipulate. This isn't a rejection of your past, it's a release into your future. So let it fall, Capricorn. Let the roles you outgrew collapse. Let the rooms that kept you boxed in break. You don't belong in the collapse. You belong in the creation that comes after. What's falling is everything false that tried to contain you. What's rising is everything real that's ready to receive you. The final collapse is not your crisis. It's your crossing point. Life lesson for Capricorn. When you no longer fit where you once belonged, it's not failure, it's fulfillment. The version of you that stayed small to survive is gone. What's left now is the truth, and truth cannot be caged. Part 10. You were meant to rise after the collapse. Capricorn, you were never meant to be buried by the collapse. You were meant to rise through it, and because of it. The pain you endured wasn't wasted. The betrayals you survived weren't silent to the heavens. And the nights you cried in stillness weren't ignored by the divine. Everything you walked through has led to this moment. The moment where truth is louder than lies. The moment where the hands that tried to hold you back fall away. The moment where justice becomes visible. Not just for others to see, but for you to finally believe. Because for so long, Capricorn, you've doubted it. You've questioned if it would ever shift. You've wondered if karma forgot your address. But now, you know better. The darkness is collapsing not because of chaos, but because of cosmic order. And in the space that collapse leaves behind, you are being positioned. Not just to survive. Not just to rebuild. But to lead, inspire, and restore everything that was once denied to you. You are not the victim of this storm. You are the witness of its end. And the first seed of what comes after. So hold your head high. Walk through the ruins without fear. Because what is rising now is you. Let those who tried to curse you fall into their own confusion. Let those who built alliances against you lose their own footing. Let the system that failed you fold under its own weight. And you keep rising. With clarity. With calm. With the quiet fire of someone who knows. The light was always going to find you. Capricorn, if this message resonated deeply with you, don't just listen, respond. Black Right Arrow #type these words in the comments right now. The collapse made space for my rise. Let it be your declaration. Your line in the sand. Your moment of emergence. And if you want to walk the rest of this journey with insight, truth, and power, subscribe now to Zodiac Secrets Revealed. Because your rise has only just begun. And what's coming next is everything the darkness tried to delay.